it's fair for every single Bears fan to ask the question, why in the bluest of blue fucks should they have any faith, confidence, or belief in the Chicago Bears organization getting this head coaching hire right? Why would they? This is an organization time after time after time that has demonstrated their lack of ability to execute in key areas. And if we're really being real here, how many times have they ever really gotten the head coaching hire right in their organization's history? I can only really speak to my lifetime. The first time was when they hired Mike Ditka, and I was less than a year old when that hiring happened. He was a damn special teams coach with the Dallas Cowboys. And Papa Bear, even then, undercut general manager Jim Finks, Hall of Fame general manager Jim Finks, to go make that hire. And the other time you could argue the Bears have gotten their head coaching hire right in my lifetime was Lovie Smith, which, oh, by the way, he wasn't even Jerry Angelo's first option. That was Nick Saban. And they stumble fucked into Lovie as a backup option. And he was one of two finalists, if you remember, the other one being Russ fucking Grimm. We're going to run the ball. We're going to pass the ball. And by golly, we're going to win football games. Basically, Russ Grimm's whole press... You remember when they trotted both Lovie Smith out and Russ Grimm when they came in for their interviews to meet with the media? Do you remember that? I'm not crazy. It happened. And what I just said about Russ Grimm was a pretty accurate paraphrasing of what he actually fucking said. They almost went with that guy. So one time they got it right, I was about maybe 10 months old or so. The other time they got it right, they stumbled into it because they were too cheap to get their top option. I don't give a fuck what any revisionist history says, any Greg Gabriels of the fucking world say. They didn't pony up enough dough to offer Nick Saban. That was widely reported 20 plus years ago. It was fucking accurate, combined with the Jerry Angelo did not want to cede some of the personnel power to Saban. That's a fact. Let's not distort fucking history here. So they stumbled into a backup option that ended up working out. Same organization that botched the Dave McGinnis hiring. Could you imagine rushing to judgment and excitement to announce hiring Dave McGinnis, except you haven't fucking hired Dave McGinnis, and it ends up being a disaster, and as a result, that's when Virginia finally kicks her son out of Michael McCaskey out of running the football operations? Like, this is the team, the same organization that saw Bruce Arians available on the market, Andy Reid available on the market, and said, we're going to the CFL to hire Mark Trestman. We're going to outthink them all. The same organization a few years ago that hired Matt Eberflus. So, again, Bears fans have absolutely no reason to have confidence, faith, belief, trust in this organization getting this also critical hire correct. No reason to believe whatsoever. So you can forgive a lot of Bears fans, those that maybe have their hearts set on a Ben Johnson in really like worrying and panicking and overreacting when nothing has officially happened yet. Because it's for good reason. Because we're talking about, at the end of the day, Bears football! Of course they're likely to fuck this up. And you actually have evidence of the process this time pointing to how likely it is that this team is going to fuck it up. It is one thing to do a thorough process. It is quite another thing to go so far out of your way to cast such a wide net that you clearly demonstrate you don't know what the fuck you're doing and you don't know who or what you are looking for. Now, I've done hiring in the past few years at work, and every time I've done it, roles that we've posted internally have 150, 200 applicants. And after you go through the resumes and you go through like manager feedback and like questionnaire answers that the applicants have provided, you might whittle that down to 10 to 12, and usually less than that, just from a timing standpoint and the effort involved with interviewing and consensus and so forth. Out of 150 to 200 candidates, might interview really 8 to 10, and 10 might even be stretching it, and that might be for 2 or 3 open spots. The Chicago Bears, last I counted, have already interviewed 14 different candidates for their head coaching job and have requests out for another few more and have a couple of other interviews scheduled still to go. Anybody defending this as good process is just being a homer dumb dick for the fuck all of it, because they're addicted to Bears football mediocrity. No, this is not good. Stop making fucking excuses for pathetic process. That's what this is. If you can't already have an idea of the 8 to 10 candidates you think are possibly the most well-suited and of the most interest to you, the most qualified to you, whoever those might be, then you don't need to be doing this. No wonder they went down the Ernie Accorsi and Bill Polian paths before. Not that those results were any fucking better. But you clearly understand why. Because Goofy George, yuck, yuck, yuck. And the Twinkie Dayton Dong twins, that's Kevin Warren and Ryan Poles, they don't know what the fuck they're doing. And you say, well, how can I say that? Look at Ryan Poles' results with his team the last 3 years. He doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. What do you mean Kevin Warren doesn't know what the fuck he's doing? He brought back Ryan Poles and hasn't closed the deal on the fucking stadium yet. Well, what do you mean George McCaskey doesn't know what he's doing? His last name is fucking McCaskey. Do you need anything else? There is absolutely no defending or justifying what they're doing here. The rest of the NFL, and even bad organizations, look at the Bears in this process and say this is a shit show. As they should. Because how could you not? They're requesting interviews from Marcus Freeman. He hasn't even won a national championship yet at Notre Dame. And you think you're interested in him to possibly be an NFL head coach? And he's your top priority to work with Caleb Williams, a former linebacker? Like, who's booking this crap? Seriously. Like, you can't make this shit up. Oh, we're looking for a leader of men. You know that's going to lead them down a dumb dick fucking path. I guess one thing. Obviously, you got to interview Ben Johnson. Interviewing Joe Brady. Yes. Aaron Glenn. Absolutely. Mike McCarthy becomes available. Yes, you have to interview him. You could make an argument one way or another about Pete Carroll, like the resume necessitates or justifies an interview, but the guy's going to be like 74 next year. That's not what you need. Just no. No. Like Todd Monken, absolutely. David Shaw, I get. They went and interviewed Mike Vrabel. Okay, like I wouldn't have fucking wasted my time. I wouldn't have hired him anyways, but whatever the fuck. But then you start getting this stupid season. They're bringing in Mike Kafka, the offensive coordinator of the Giants. What the fuck are you doing? Drew Petzing, the offensive coordinator of the Arizona Cardinals. Anthony Weaver, the defensive coordinator of the Dolphins. What's one theme that all of these guys have in common? They're coordinators on teams that didn't even make the fucking playoffs this year. Did you not learn your lessons from Matt fucking Eberflus? He was a defensive coordinator for a team that didn't go to the fucking playoffs, and you're repeating the mistake? The fuck out of here. Meanwhile, Liam Cohen, the offensive coordinator for a high-powered Buccaneers offense that did make the playoffs, hasn't even been requested for an interview yet. He was the guy that they brought in, one of them last year, for an offensive coordinator interview, and like, nah, we're good. Because, of course, Bears football! Gotta go the Wizard Waldron there. Like they're bringing in Ron Rivera to do an in-person interview. I know that's to basically say, fuck you to the Rooney Rule, but goddamn, Ron Rivera, where's Mike Singletary's fucking interview if you're going to do that dumb dick shit? You're bringing in Arthur Smith? I know he's a former NFL head coach, but he's a former NFL head coach for a reason. The fuck are you doing? Oh my God. Like, this is insane. They've scheduled interviews with Adam Stenavich, the Packers offensive coordinator. Oh, that's great. These other offensive coordinators that are out there that have actually called plays, you're going to bring in one that doesn't. I wonder how that's going to go. Because his work with Jordan Love was so fantastic this year, right? They've got an interview scheduled with Brian Flores because, of course, those fucking idiots do. Because him and Ryan Poles, I guess, are fishing buddies going back to their college days. Oh, I'm sure he'll be a fucking finalist. Because that's exactly who the fuck you want working with Caleb Williams, is a goddamn guy that had a horrendous relationship with Tua Tagovailoa. Oh, he learned from his mistakes. He's a good defensive coordinator. Good for fucking him. He gets another opportunity someday. Great. Not in fucking Chicago. Fuck that. Now they're requesting an interview with Cliff Kingsbury. If I was Cliff Kingsbury, I'd tell him to fucking shove it. He was out looking for an offensive coordinator gig last offseason. The Bears brought him in and said, nah, we're good. We'll go with Shane Waldron. Why the fuck would he want any part of him now? And why the fuck would the Bears, when they turned him down as an offensive coordinator possibility last year, all of a sudden decide they want to hire him as their head coach? You're wasting your fucking time interviewing this guy. You didn't want him last time for a lesser role. Why the fuck would you want him now for a bigger role? That's stupid. And then Matt Campbell, the head coach at Iowa State. You're requesting an interview with the coach of the team that just won the Pop-Tarts Bowl. Pop-Tarts! A guy who's, as a head coach at the college level, his career record is 64-51. At Iowa State, it's 45-36. The last 2 years, Matt Campbell's Iowa State teams have finished tied for fourth and tied for first in a whack-ass Big 12. He won the Pop-Tarts Bowl. Oh my God, you gotta have him. He's 45-36 at Iowa State, 64-51 between there and fucking Toledo. Are you fucking kidding me? Until this team hires somebody like a Ben Johnson or a Todd Monken, assume they're going to get this fucking wrong. Because you know goddamn good and well they will. And once we start figuring out who the Trace Armstrong clients fucking are, like a Joe Brady, you'll quickly realize who the real top candidates are in this process. Oh. You know, here's one thing that should be beyond dispute. In my lifetime, or let me say, in my adult life, if you will, there's no question that by far, the worst, most disgraceful, biggest joke of a Chicago sports franchise is hands down the Chicago Bears. That's the legacy of Bears football! And this whole abortion of a coaching search is just the latest fucking example of that.